So in one of my recent videos, I was complaining that I couldn't use Autopilot sort of in place when I was building an app. Well, in UiPath Studio for Desktop, you can. Let me show you. Okay, so we are inside Studio in an empty project. All we have is the main sequence. What we want to do in this automation is we want to go to my F drive. In my F drive, I have an Excel file called companies. In that file, we have the name of some companies. We have the number of employees, what country are they in, and what is the city of the headquarters. All of this data is stored in the My Data sheet. So we'll just close this file again. So inside our automation, we want to load this file and maybe do a little bit of filtering and stuff. So we can enable Autopilot in several ways here. One way is to hit Control-Shift-T. That will bring up the search box, and then we can just type in what it is we want to do. Get data from Excel. There's no activity with that name. So it's going to come up with this suggestion to generate the code with Autopilot. Another way of firing up Autopilot is simply to go to the sequence and then hit Shift F2, and that will open the annotation editor for the sequence. And this only works on sequences. It doesn't work on other activities. It doesn't work in workflows, only on sequences, right? But inside a sequence, we can actually get it to generate some code. So what we want to do is we want to get data from Excel file located at F companies XLSX. Sheet name is my data. And we can even add more stuff to it. We'll say if there are no data, show a message box, no data found. If data is found, show a message box with the number of records. And then we'll press generate. And now it's going to show us an overview of what it thinks it is we want it to build. And if we sort of approve of that, then we can hit OK. And if we don't approve, we can hit cancel and try to sort of refine our prompt a little bit. And I'll get back to that in a few minutes. So here we can see that it wants to read range from the file. We want to check if the data table is empty. If it is, it's going to show one message box. And if it isn't, it's going to show a different message box. So this kind of looks okay. So we'll just press confirm. And now I do see one thing that's a little bit concerning is that the range that it wants to select from up here, that's just the number of quotation marks. I'm just going to completely clear that. And for some reason also, it didn't get the workbook path, which is one of the things that I would actually expect it to be able to do. So we'll just point it in the right direction. And now we have the automation that we wanted with just a couple of modifications. So we'll try to run it. And it shows us that there are 22 records inside of this file. If we go back to the file very quickly, we can see that there's a couple of companies here from San Francisco. Let's try and do a little bit of filtering. And this is where you get this sort of in-place adding of Autopilot functionality to Studio. So in here, in between the read range and the if data table is empty activities, we want to add some more stuff. So I'll just add a sequence. Press Shift F2, and then I'll just type in filter the data so that only companies from San Francisco are left. And I'll press generate. Again, it's going to show us sort of an overview of what it is it's going to do if we let it. And we can see here that it's going to filter the data table, and that's fine. I think it's adding a little bit more activities than it needs to, but we'll let it fly, and then we can just delete whatever we don't need. It also asks us if we want to keep the surrounding sequence. If I click this, we're going to have a sequence, in this case called sequence, with this annotation in it. And if we don't keep the sequence, it's simply going to add these filter activities. So we'll just go with that and confirm. And what it did here, yeah, this is Gen AI at its best. So what it's going to do is it's going to take the company's data table. That's the data table that is generated by the read range activity up here. It's going to take that and filter it, and then place the result of that filtering into a new data table called filtered companies data, which is fair enough. And then down here, it's going to assign the value of that variable to the original company's data table variable. It's not doing anything wrong. It's just, it's kind of going an extra round. I would probably just change the filter data table to the company's data table. No biggie. But what we can see if we go into the configure filter here is that it actually added the filter information. So it knew to look for a column called city, because that's where you would find San Francisco. And then it says, okay, I only want to keep the rows where the city is San Francisco. I'll click OK. So if we try and run it again, hopefully we're not going to see 22 records. We should only see, we're seeing 22 records. What's going on here? Oh my God, this is not good. It actually took the filtered data and then reassigned the non-filtered data to the filtered data variable. So it did it the wrong way around. What we actually wanted to do is, well, I'm just going to delete this and then take the company's data and add that in the second part here, so that it reads from the company's data table, filters it, and then writes the result of the filtering back to the same data table. And that's the data table we'll see the result from down here at the end. So click again and see that hopefully it shows us 2 rows in the data. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Autopilot is not perfect. It's Gen AI, it's creative, it hallucinates, it does all of those things. And sometimes it does some amazing things also. Before I get into sort of an observation I've made, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really does help my channel, grow. And also, if you like the channel as a whole, subscribe to it. I have a lot of new stuff coming out with Autopilot and document understanding and other stuff as well. Now, Autopilot, or my relationship with Autopilot, is kind of like the relationship that I have with some clients. I ask them what they need. They tell me what they need or what they think they need, and then I build it. And then it turns out sometimes that, we didn't really hit the mark. So they come back with more refined information, or I ask more refined questions. And after a couple of rounds in the ring, we actually get to what it is I really need, I really want, and I can build it. And it's the same thing with Autopilot, and I'm sure you've played with ChatGPT and stuff like that. And the better the prompt you provide, the better the result. And that's how it is with Autopilot. You really need to play around with it, and you will get better at prompting and describing what it is you need. And you'll find out, what are some of the pitfalls and some of the things that will make Autopilot either fail or succeed. So start playing with Autopilot. You need version 24.10. It's out now in both enterprise and in community editions. And start playing with Autopilot. Also, keep watching my channel, subscribe, like, all of that. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this one. Hopefully I'll see you soon.